Conduit Church family, thanks for continuing to jump in with us during our 21 days of prayer and fasting. I'm hoping that you are continuing on track with this, and we want to encourage you today with Philippians chapter 4, starting in verse 10 through 13. So just a quick passage, and this is Paul writing. And Paul is saying, I rejoice in the Lord greatly, that now at length you have revived your concern for me. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Verse 11, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned, in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low. I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. Verse 13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And there's just one little piece of this passage that jumps out, and he says it twice. He repeats himself, and he says, I have learned. And Paul learned two things, but really it's wrapped up into one thing that he says in verse 13. And that one thing is the secret. He says, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. But what he's really talking about is that he has found contentment. He has found satisfaction through highs and through lows, through having it all and through having nothing. That's what this says. And depending on the version you're reading, it may say something different. I believe in one version that says how to be content when I have everything and when I have lost everything, when I am full and when I'm hungry. And right now, I'm through a 21-day fast. You may be hungry right now. As you're reading this, you may be hungry. What he's really talking about is a spiritual hunger and this desire to go deeper with him, this desire to get to know him, and this desire to make it through and with strength. And the point is, and the secret is, again, in verse 13, is that strength that you need is not through your own self. It's through him and through him alone. And so I just want to encourage you this morning or this afternoon or this evening, whatever you have found time to get to this devotional today, that you will be teachable, that you will be willing to learn something new. And maybe through this process, through this time of prayer and fasting, you are learning to be content. And contentment in this passage is really just being satisfied. You are learning to find satisfaction through all things, through the highs, through the lows, through the needs, through the wants. Whether you're hungry or you're full, you can find contentment. You can find satisfaction through the Holy Spirit leading it to him, and through him alone is your strength.